Hey guys, I'm Tyler and welcome back. Today we are going to make a loft bed for the man-child. There are plans available for this loft bed on my website DIYTyler.com. In those plans I have provisions for using rough cut lumber and for using construction grade lumber from the home center. I am going to be using solid ash and I am using rough cut lumber. First order of business with the rough cut lumber is to break it down to more manageable pieces of wood. I first start at the miter saw to break them down into more manageable lengths, and then since I don't have square edges to work with, I use the bandsaw to break them down to their rough width. After that I move on to the jointer to get two square edges so that I can use more accurate power tools later on. This makes a ton of wood chips going through the jointer and the planer, but it needs to be done, and it's much cheaper to buy rough cut lumber than to buy S4S, which means surfaced on four sides lumber. It is available, but be ready to pay for it. After the jointer, I move on to the planer to bring some of the boards down close to their final thickness. Some of them are so thick that I didn't want to plane all of the material off, so I moved over to the bandsaw to resaw them down to their rough length, and then it was back to the planer to square up the edges. I do want to say that after milling lumber like this, it is always best to let it sit for a day or two before bringing it down to its final dimension, as it will possibly shift with changes in the humidity. After I had everything milled to its proper dimension, I marked off the pieces according to my plans so that I didn't get anything mixed up. Just when you thought we were done with the miter saw, it is back over to the miter saw station, this time using the stop block in some fancy angles to cut every piece of wood down to its final length. Having a miter saw with a functional stop block that is repeatable every time is fantastic for a project like this, and here you can see the fold-up wing on my miter saw station being put to good use. Plans for the miter saw station are available on my website as well. And now it is time to move all of the wood over the table saw to get it down to its final dimensions. The railing of this loft bed has a slight curve on the bottom side of the railing, and I am putting that in place by using some clamps and a 1/4 inch piece of plywood which is very thin and flexible to draw that curve. Once I have the curve drawn, I move over to the bandsaw to cut it down, and then onto the oscillating spindle sander to get a perfectly smooth edge. And now it is time for some final assembly. This is assembled in two different sections, the first of it being the ladder and the second being the bed frame itself. All of the assembly is going to be completed using 1/2 inch dowels, and I'm going to be using this kit from Rockler Woodworking and Hardware to drill all of my dowel holes. You need to be very careful that you set the depth stop of your drill bit properly so that you don't drill all the way through your boards. Now I am going to be drilling 2 holes at each step location on the ladder arms, but I wasn't super accurate with my dimensions on one side, and I actually offset them a little bit by accident. So you will see when I'm doing the final assembly, I actually only put 1 dowel on each side of the board, and that allows me to rotate it back straight and level so that I can get a nice even step and a flat step on the ladder when it is glued up. And it is little kids going to be climbing on this, so I think with the wood glue and a dowel on both sides, we should never run into any issues. Definitely take the time to measure diagonally across your ladder to make sure you have it nice and square. And now it is time to move on to the assembly of the bed frame. Again, take note of the depth stop on your drill bit so that you don't drill through the slightly thinner walls of the bed frame. The sharpest of you might have noticed that I switched over to a brad point bit. At this point, it helps me get better directional control and straighter holes. There are 2 1/2 inch dowels in all corners of the bed frame. Using a sanding block to remove any burrs so that we have nice square even joints, I added some wood glue and those 1/2-inch dowels for our final assembly. I always like to use a silicone glue brush so that I have nice even glue application for the strongest joint possible. All 4 joints are assembled using the same method, and then I used my largest Bessie parallel clamps to make sure everything was nice and snug. I sanded the frame and all other components up to 220 grit. On the outside edges of the bed frame and the railing, I added a slight 1/8 inch roundover just to smooth over those edges. In the areas that I couldn't get with the 1/8 inch roundover bit, I used a 220 piece of sandpaper curved over a silicone dowel to smooth out the edges. I am going to be finishing this bed with General Finishes Endurovar in a semi-gloss and spraying it with my Fuji Q5 Platinum spray system. The Endurovar has a slight amber, so it actually looks like oil base, but dries as fast as a water-based finish, and I absolutely love this stuff. It turned out fantastic. We couldn't be any happier. I sprayed 3 coats of the Endurovar, sanding with 600 grit sandpaper on a sanding block in between coats. Here you can see I am doing the bed frame and the smaller portions which are leaning up against the sawhorses. And now for the assembly. I used some scrap pieces of wood and plenty of clamps to position the ladder where we needed it to be, and then drilled and countersunk and added some 2 3/4 inch wood screws. Then I marked the rough location of where the bottom of the frame should be on the wall. This will change slightly as we need to be level off of the ladder position now. And then I used a magnetic stud finder to find where the studs are. Moving the bed frame into position and using a level to make sure we are perfectly level off of the permanent position of the ladder. Once we had our final position, I drilled and countersunk and added some 3-inch deck screws through the bed frame and into the studs of the house. To install the railing, we first clamped the bottom of the support arm into place flush with the bottom of the bed frame, leveled it, and then added the final screw. And these again are drilled and countersunk and fastened in place with 2 3/4 inch wood screws.
That is why you like 2 drills on a job all the time.
Yes.
At least 2 drills.
At least 2 drills. And the horizontal railing portions are fastened to the vertical supports using 1 1/4 inch wood screws from the back so that you don't see any hardware. The mattress supports are 1x3 pine.
They're not monkey bars.
Even though they look like monkey bars, the mattress supports were fastened in place with 1 1/4 inch wood screws so that they didn't slide around. Then our son took it for a test drive, and he seemed to approve. Again, if any of you guys are interested in these plans, they are available on my website, DIYTyler.com. It is reversible, so you can have the ladder on either side of the bed with no issues. You guys might notice this is actually a miniature loft bed, and that's because we have a Cape Cod style house, and I wanted to have a bunk bed that fit into the Cape Cod peak very well, but I couldn't make it work with the heat registers that we have in this upper level. So I made it a loft bed, and we'll make a twin bed to go underneath it to make the bunk bed later on. There will be plans available for this on my website, DIYTyler.com, so go get your plans today.